Everyday items may soon get more expensive due to proposed tariffs on imports. Tariffs, essentially taxes on goods from other countries, are meant to protect local industries by making imported items cost more, encouraging people to buy from domestic producers instead. While this might boost American manufacturing, it could also strain household budgets. A new analysis by the Tax Policy Center warns that the proposed tariffs could lower household incomes by an average of nearly $3,000 in 2025, significantly impacting our everyday lives. Under the Trump administration, tariffs were a cornerstone of the America First strategy. The goal was to reduce dependency on foreign-made products and make American goods more attractive. The proposal included broad tariffs on various imported goods and higher taxes on products. But this approach carries both benefits and risks, as these taxes can help local businesses compete while raising costs for consumers. In this video, we'll look at how these tariffs might affect everyday expenses. We'll also examine the details of the tariff proposals, their potential impact on the job market, American businesses, and consumers, and how these changes could shape the overall economy. Check out the full details by visiting the link in the description. Trump's tariff proposal. Trump's proposed tariffs aim to make foreign goods pricier to encourage Americans to buy products made domestically. His plan included a broad 10 to 20% tariff on most imported items, meaning everything from electronics to furniture would cost more. This strategy intended to shift production back to the U.S., helping to boost local manufacturing and create jobs. A huge part of this proposal was a steep 60% tariff on products from China, which is a major supplier of American goods like electronics and clothing. This measure, according to the Tax Policy Center, could bring in about $6 trillion in new revenue, adding significantly to the $1 trillion already raised through existing tariffs. Trump's proposal even suggested a massive 200% tariff on select luxury goods. For households, higher tariffs could mean bigger bills for common goods, while businesses might face higher costs for materials, forcing some to pass those costs on to customers or even cut jobs to manage expenses. Economic impact of tariffs. Tariffs ripple through the economy, affecting more than just the price tags on imported items. For consumers, higher import taxes mean everyday goods get more expensive. A report from the American Action Forum estimated that the proposed 60% tariff on Chinese products could push up household costs by nearly $1,950 annually, driving consumer spending on imported items from $300 billion to over $500 billion each year. Tariffs don't just impact consumers, they also place a burden on businesses that rely on imported parts and materials. When costs rise, companies may struggle to stay competitive, leading to layoffs or reduced hiring. The Tax Foundation reported that Trump's tariff proposals could result in an additional $524 billion in taxes, reduce GDP by just under 1%, and lead to a loss of about 684,000 full-time jobs. This economic slowdown impacts both job availability and wage growth. Now that we've learned about tariffs and their broader economic impact, let's look at specific items that will likely cost you more money. Understanding these changes can help you plan your spending and make smarter financial decisions in the months ahead. Number 1. Electronics. The electronics industry stands to see some of the biggest price increases, especially with components like semiconductors and batteries facing higher tariffs. Your next laptop purchase could cost up to 45% more, adding $357 to average models. Companies that make phones, tablets, and other devices rely heavily on international manufacturing and components, particularly those made in China. The rising costs of these essential parts will impact the final price of almost every electronic device you use daily. Number 2. Appliances. Major appliance prices tell an interesting story about how tariffs affect consumers. Previous tariff increases on washing machines led many manufacturers to raise prices significantly. Companies like LG and Samsung responded to the 20% tax on their first 1.2 million units and 50% after that through price adjustments. While some manufacturing moved to the U.S., consumers still paid more for their appliances. These new tariffs will likely cause similar price increases across all household appliances, including refrigerators, dishwashers, and dryers. Number 3. Clothing and footwear. Your wardrobe will likely become more expensive as clothing manufacturers face increased costs for materials and finished products. The proposed tariffs could raise clothing prices between 10% and 25% across all categories. This means a $50 pair of jeans might soon cost $62.50, while a $100 pair of shoes could jump to $125. The impact will hit everything in your closet: shirts, pants, dresses, and athletic wear. International manufacturing remains central to clothing production, making this industry particularly vulnerable to tariff increases. Number 4 on our list of items expected to get more expensive is furniture. The furniture industry faces substantial changes under the new tariff proposals. A dining room set or living room sofa could cost 10 to 30% more than current prices. Manufacturing furniture requires numerous materials and components that cross international borders before reaching your home. The cost increases will affect both high-end and budget furniture lines equally. Many furniture makers will need to adjust their prices to cover these new expenses. Number 5. Automobiles. Car buyers should prepare for significant sticker shock, as the proposed tariffs could add thousands of dollars to vehicle prices. The 200% tariff on certain automobiles would dramatically impact both new and used car markets. Luxury vehicles might see the most substantial increases, but even economical models will cost more. Parts shortages and increased manufacturing costs will push prices higher across every automotive category. The ripple effect will impact leasing costs and monthly payments for financed vehicles. Number 6. Solar panels. The solar energy industry continues to feel the effects of existing tariffs, and new proposals could make solar installations even more expensive. Current tariffs start at 30% and decrease over time, but President Biden extended the 15% rate for another 4 years. This extension affects both residential and commercial solar projects. The increased costs slow down the adoption of renewable energy solutions across the country. Many homeowners interested in solar power might need to delay their installation plans due to these higher prices. Number 7. Steel products. Steel prices impact everything made with this essential material, and previous tariffs already raised costs about 25%. Construction projects cost more as steel beams, reinforcement bars, and structural components face higher prices. The manufacturing sector struggles with increased material costs for machinery and equipment production. Small businesses particularly feel the impact as they often can't buy in bulk to save money. These price increases touch nearly every industry that uses steel in its products. Number 8 on our list of items expected to get more expensive is aluminum products. Aluminum price increases affect products in almost every room of your house. The beverage industry needs aluminum for cans, while construction companies use it for windows, doors, and siding. Previous tariffs pushed prices up approximately 10%, and new proposals could raise them further. Manufacturing costs increase for everything containing aluminum components. The construction and beverage industries pass these higher expenses directly to consumers. Number 9. Food and agricultural products. Your grocery bill might increase as food producers deal with higher costs and retaliatory tariffs affecting U.S. agricultural exports. Price increases between 5 to 15% could hit various food products at your local store. Packaging costs rise when manufacturers pay more for materials like aluminum cans and steel containers. Agricultural equipment becomes more expensive as steel, and parts prices increase. The combined effect means higher prices throughout the entire food supply chain. Number 10. Toys and games. Holiday shopping might require extra budgeting as toy manufacturers face increased production costs. The toy industry relies heavily on international production, and tariffs could push prices up 15 to 25%. Popular electronic toys might see even higher increases due to computer chip costs. Parents should expect to pay more for birthday and holiday gifts this year. Many retailers might reduce their typical holiday discounts to cover these increased costs. Number 11. Sporting goods. Athletic equipment and sporting goods prices will climb as manufacturers deal with higher material costs. Everything at your local sporting goods store, tents, bicycles, exercise equipment, and team sports gear could cost about 10% more. The price of raw materials affects production costs for metal equipment and synthetic materials in sportswear. Many sporting goods companies operate on thin profit margins and cannot absorb these extra expenses. Number 12 on our list of items expected to get more expensive is home improvement materials. Your next home renovation project will likely cost more as building materials face price increases between 10 to 20%. Lumber, tiles, pipes, and electrical components all fall under the new tariff rules. Many homeowners might need to scale back their remodeling plans or seek additional financing to complete projects. Local contractors are adjusting their estimates to account for material cost increases. The entire construction industry expects these higher prices to slow down both residential and commercial projects. Before we continue with the video, take a quick moment to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Plus, we've got some helpful resources in the description. Check them out and share your comments after you're done watching. Number 13. Medical supplies and equipment. Healthcare costs could rise as medical supplies and equipment face tariffs ranging between 5 to 15%. Hospitals and medical offices need to account for increased costs of gloves, masks, testing equipment, and specialized devices. These price increases affect both routine checkups and complex procedures. Medical practices might adjust their service fees to compensate for higher supply costs. Patients could see these increases reflected in their medical bills and insurance premiums. Number 14. Textiles and fabrics. The textile industry expects price increases around 10% as raw materials become more expensive. This affects not only clothing, but also home furnishings, industrial materials, and specialized fabrics. Companies making curtains, bedding, and upholstery will raise prices to cover their increased costs. Small businesses in the crafting and sewing industry might struggle with higher material expenses. These increases touch everything made with fabric or synthetic materials. Number 15. Consumer electronics accessories. The accessories market faces steep price increases around 20% under new tariff proposals. Phone cases, chargers, speakers, and other add-on devices will cost significantly more. Many popular gadgets require multiple accessories for full functionality, multiplying the impact on consumers. The gaming industry particularly feels these effects through higher-priced controllers and peripherals. Replacement parts and upgrades for existing electronics will also cost more. Number 16 on our list of items expected to get more expensive is beauty and personal care products. Your daily grooming routine might become more expensive as beauty and personal care items face 10% price increases. Manufacturers need to adjust prices on everything: shampoo, makeup, skincare products, and grooming tools. The beauty industry uses many specialized ingredients and packaging materials affected through tariffs. Small beauty businesses might struggle to maintain competitive prices. Salon services could also increase as professional products cost more. Number 17. Office supplies. Basic office and school supplies will see price increases between 5 to 15%. Paper products, writing tools, printer supplies, and organizational items all cost more to produce under new tariffs. Schools might need larger budgets to provide necessary supplies for students. Small businesses face higher operational costs as everyday office materials become more expensive. These increases affect both traditional supplies and modern office technology. Number 18. Pet supplies. Taking care of pets will cost more as supplies face approximately 10% price increases. Food, toys, beds, and medical supplies for pets require materials now subject to higher tariffs. Pet food manufacturers must adjust prices as ingredients and packaging costs rise. Veterinary offices might increase service fees to cover more expensive medical supplies. Pet owners should prepare for higher routine care expenses. Number 19. Automotive parts. Car maintenance and repairs will cost 10 to 20% more as parts prices increase under new tariffs. Simple oil changes might cost more due to higher prices for filters and fluids. Mechanics need to adjust their labor rates to account for more expensive replacement parts. Car owners might delay regular maintenance due to increased costs. These price changes affect both domestic and international vehicle brands. Number 20 on our list of items expected to get more expensive is jewelry and watches. The jewelry industry anticipates price increases up to 20% on finished pieces and raw materials. Precious metals, stones, and watch components all face higher import costs. Luxury brands will pass these increases directly to customers through higher retail prices. Local jewelers might need to adjust their selection of products to maintain affordable options. Watch repairs could also cost more as replacement parts become more expensive. Number 21. Musical instruments. Musicians should expect to pay about 15% more for instruments and equipment. Professional-grade instruments require specialized materials and precise manufacturing now affected through tariffs. Music stores might reduce their inventory to manage higher wholesale costs. The increased costs affect both traditional and electronic instruments. Number 22. Kitchenware. Your kitchen updates will cost about 10% more as cookware and appliances face higher production costs. Professional chefs and home cooks alike will pay more for pots, pans, and cooking tools. Restaurant supply companies expect to raise prices on commercial kitchen equipment. The increased costs touch everything: utensils, storage containers, and specialized cooking tools. Small restaurants might struggle with the combined effect of higher food and equipment costs. Last on our list of items expected to get more expensive is books and printed materials. Reading materials face 5 to 10% price increases as paper and printing costs rise. Publishers need to adjust book prices to maintain their profit margins. School districts might need larger budgets for textbooks and educational materials. Magazine publishers could increase subscription rates to cover higher production costs. These changes affect both traditional print materials and specialty publications. These price increases will roll out gradually, but their effects will touch almost every purchase you make. The average American household stands to spend about $3,000 more each year as these tariffs take effect. Smart planning can help you manage these changes. Consider timing your big purchases, especially electronics, appliances, or vehicles, ahead of major price increases. Keep an eye on sales for everyday items like clothing and household goods. The numbers tell a clear story. These tariffs will change how much we pay for goods. Stay alert to price changes in your area and adjust your budget accordingly. Your awareness today will help you handle tomorrow's higher prices. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget the link in the description.